When we're live.
Live,
So
sweet.
we are live. Mr. Baarden is in the house, exactly who we are talking about today. And I have a very good friend, Tyson from Faithfully Bearded, in house today talking with us.
Hey, everybody.
And we have Mr. McMahon85. So very happy to have him coming in. Thank you guys for coming in. I really appreciate Tyson for joining me today. This is an awesome opportunity to talk about, I think, both of our favorite companies. He's awesome. I started talking to Adam because I did some meditation videos a while back, and he reached out to me looking for some meditation information. So I handed that out to Adam at that time, and we've kind of struck up a friendship. I know that Tyson's been in talking to him for some time. I don't know how long you've done. A couple of years or a year at least.
Yeah, not a couple of years. So I started January 29th, and then Adam started his company exactly a week later. And we hooked up sometime in February, I believe. And then I was his first review. I was his first reviewer. And we hit it off in that review, and we've just kind of stayed in contact ever since, and kept giving feedback and working together, and then it just gets into life stuff and all that stuff. So
yeah, and you know what, that's the cool thing about our community and our companies is that we get that kind of it's a friendship that you get with people, and the brotherhood is amazing. I really enjoy that, and I've really enjoyed getting to know Adam as a person as well as a company. I finally got some of his products this probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I've been test driving them this couple weeks actually, because I'm just like you. I want to make sure that I give it a very good, thorough testing before I say, hey, yeah, this is great. And I honestly, my beard has not felt better. And I've tried a lot of products, and I know that you have too. His ingredients are amazing. I have his beard wash. I've been test driving that. Love that. Really kind of, for me, that's a gentle clean. Very nice. I have his new, I have a beard balm and the beard butter and the oil here somewhere. In the wonderful smell of maple or coffee, maple and praline and coffee, right? Or what is it? Maple. I had it.
maple praline.
Yeah, the coffee maple praline. Long day, huh? So absolutely love these. I tried the butter at night, but it was coffee. So I was like,
Yeah.
I still loved it though. I was really happy. Absolutely loving it. And I think that I found one of my new favorites in his sandalwood and frankincense smell. His frankincense and sandalwood blend. I don't know if you've tried that out, Tyson.
That's your favorite one?
I'm into that space. So that to me, that represents calmness. That represents meditation.
Yeah.
So
I have tried it, but he has since redone the scent a little bit, I believe. I have the new one, the new version of it, just not unboxed yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be getting into that this week, thankfully.
Oh, good. Yeah, I absolutely. So to me, I'm always into those calming, meditative, because I'm a meditator. And so to me, that just puts me right into that mood. I have a few of those type of smells that I have collected over the last 6 months or so. And that just puts me right in the mood to be able to be calm, makes me feel throughout it kind of brings me into that mindfulness state throughout the day, which is exactly what I'm looking for, especially when you have a, crazy job. So yeah, very good. And crazy kids.
So what scents did you get from him?
So I got the coffee maple praline. I got the tobacco. I got the frankincense and sandalwood. and then I got the TBL, tobacco, bourbon, and leather. And then I got the Moroccan spice and citrus.
Okay, so you got most of them.
Yeah, I got most of them. And I would say that I didn't find one that I didn't like.
No, and they're hard to pick out scents of any of them. So, like, I have spearmint pie and musk right here, and it's like trying to just sniff it and pick something out. Like, you get that there's a mint in it, and you get that there's a wood scent in it, but you can't just really pick them out what they are. It's like, um, I think when it comes to talking about mixing scents, I think Lux and Adam are like the two top tiers of like mixing things together and not picking out what's actually in there. And that's, I think the prime example is TBL. I mean, you can't smell that one and be like, oh, this has got bourbon in it, or this has leather in it, or this has tobacco in it. It's like they all just mix together so well. It's hard to pick out a single scent.
I know I have that in Beard today, and I cannot figure out. I was like, it's a spicy, like manly smell. You pick up a little bit of spice, a little bit of sweetness every once in a while, and I keep thinking, well, that's the bourbon, but you're right, they blend so well that it's not. It's a new scent on its own, and it's TBL. It's that's what I love about complexity with these, and it takes time and skill to be able to come up with that type of complexity.
Yeah, and even, you know, like you were mentioning that your beard has felt good all week long, and so when you look at like the carrier blend that he uses, for anybody that's, you know, I mean, we're all in the beard industry. We probably have seen the hype around hemp seed oil lately.
Right.
But the real thing about it is the real pure good stuff comes from Canada. So when you have a Canadian company like Baarden, I mean, he can get that stuff local, pure, right in his backyard, and he has hemp seed oil in here. So it's super cool that that's in there. And, you know, this has been one of my longtime favorite companies just for feeling beard and, you know, the butter itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even the balm is really good. I like
it's
the
a
balm.
harder balm. It's a little bit. It's like between medium and hard. It doesn't clink in the can, but you still have to get a little bit of effort, and it does have the nice hold.
And then you get the balm plus, which is the heavy hold balm, and you need a jackhammer, a blowtorch to get it out. But once you get it out and melt it down and get it in beard, I mean, it just feels good. Your beard doesn't feel like hard like some hard hold balms would make your beard feel, but it keeps it in place and it just feels so hydrated. It's amazing.
And that's huge. And, you know, I think that Dan was doing those carrier oil, and hemp oil has been, he hyped on about it a lot this last, in one of his videos where he was talking specifically about hemp oil and the benefits of it. And it has, I have tried I've had some products with CBD oil, and I had the same effect where it was just legitimately good products. Now CBD is very different. It has there is difference. It's like same family of plants, but CBD does have a very low amount of THC in it. And they, like, for instance, really regulate the heck out of hemp, but they really regulate CBD oil. And also, you know, it's just like what you're saying. It's the quality of the oils that you get, not just what it is. If you go to the store right now, I can go to a local place called Sprouts, and you can go and grab, or a gas station, you can go grab something that has hemp oil or CBD oil, and the quality of it isn't the clinical grade stuff.
Right.
Where I believe that Baarden, you know, puts himself out there to get the better products, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get good product. And I think that you can notice a huge difference when somebody uses superior product versus poor low grade.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute. So he's in Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, we can just talk. I mean, we could talk about this all day, but let's kind of, I mean, it's your show, but
go ahead.
Let's talk kind of about the quality and what he puts into his products and behind everything, more so than just thinking like, oh, this is a quality carrier oil, or this is a good carrier oil blend and it feels good, or these scents are good. I mean, it goes all the way down to how he gets his products. He drives and gets them, for his carrier oils, gets them local, drives over, gets them. He uses in his, you've all seen the packaging. If you haven't, hang on, let me get a package.
No problem.
Man, I just had a Baarden package and I don't know what I did with it, but I mean, here's the full package, like what it comes like in the mail. So you got these boxes just like this that are stamped on there. You got the Canada postage stuff. But you open it up and the presentation is really, really good in here. But it goes beyond that. Like everything in here is like biodegradable. So it's all, from the papers that he uses to package it in, the packaging, everything is all biodegradable. So it's not going to hurt, anything. And that's just a lot of things that we don't necessarily think about, I don't think,
right.
With a lot of companies. But then, as far as to go into like jars for the balm and the butter, it's like
they're glass.
Yeah, this is glass. And I kind of asked him about it. I'm like, well, I really like the design. And I think what he told me, I mean, I could be wrong because this was like in February, but he was going for jars more for freshness and product than he was for looks. Like, I think the look and ease of this is awesome. It looks good on the shelf and it's amazing. But he's like, I don't have problems shipping in the summer because glass insulates, so you're talking about freshness, seal in here, insulation, plus, I mean, just the look of it. And so I kind of just feel like when you talk about, quality and, I'm really big on experience. Experience is so big for me, and experience can go down all the way to, I think I said it in my video today, is like, the whole experience of a company is great. You can have a really high quality product in a not quality container, or maybe something that's not. Oh, we're not doing a giveaway right now. Okay, pick a number. Pick a number. Okay, I'll use that one later. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. I mean, so sorry.
It's all good.
Well, when you talk about experience, and it's like, for me, experience thinks about the whole thing in a whole. And I saw somebody say like unboxings are pointless because you're putting the product in your beard. And it's like, yeah, but if somebody just sent me a tin can that was full of the most amazing beard balm in the world, and they wrapped it in a Walmart bag and slapped a label on it, like, what am I going to think when I get it? And when they're posting pictures like that on their Instagram, am I even compelled to buy it? Like, something has to compel you to buy the product. And that's where the marketing, the visuals come in. And then when you get the product and you experience that unboxing, it's just amazing. And then you put it in the beard and it feels good too. So you're like, okay. And then you start paying attention to just the details. And I want to show you guys this. And it's just the little details that he puts in, if my camera focus. So there you have a story on it, right? So each scent has a story printed on the label, but then you get over, and once you get to, like, look at the instructions and the ingredients, but behind it, you have an imprint of some of the ingredients, a little picture monogram of the ingredients, and then the dark blue bottles here. And you have the same thing on these jars for the butter and the balm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a quality label. I mean, this isn't, cheap.
No, and that's what's in it. And it will, it's one of those oil resistant, water resistant labels, and that's what, so I got into a little bit of a discussion with him about that, because I think that he really puts that kind of effort into everything that he's doing. And I think that goes into, and the other thing was where he lives. So you're talking about Canada, which has rules, which, we have rules too, but you have to document your your ingredients. You have to go through a registration process to get your ingredients verified and so that you can be legit. And he's gone through all that. It's very much like EU rules, very
Hmm.
similar, where it's a lot more strict, a lot more enforced than what we're seeing in the United States currently. But that's what you know that when he's going through that process, that he is giving you legitimate product, that he had to go put some effort into this company to make it good from day one, to be able to be a company in Canada.
Yeah. And then, beyond that, for any new customer that he gets, he's so confident in his stuff. It's like, I'm going to give you one free because you got to try more than 1 cent. So it's like, if you're a new customer and you get an oil, you're going to get one for free. And, you know, yeah, in the beard world, there's some markup, but to get a free oil just for being a new customer of like, I want you to experience more than one thing. That just shows great ownership in my mind, and trying
Right.
to really, get. When I think about it, I mean, sometimes it's hard just to pick 1 cent, but if I'm getting to pick one and then I get a free one, like I'm more compelled to buy, right? And he's so confident in that people will return because the product is good. He knows he has a good product, that he's going to give one away for free because he knows that you're going to get hooked and you're going to come
You are.
more, right? That's
So
what
that's
it's
the
about.
total truth behind it, because you're not just going to stop it. Because then what did so I got these two. I got the butter and the balm, and I did. And then he threw in, and each one of these other ones, especially the frankincense and sandalwood, I'm going to be going back to go get the butter and balm in those. Those are amazing. The oils were good. And then I'm like, I need to go get the balm. I need the butter. You'll go in, and I think that's a really good marketing, because your product. You have a certain amount of confidence in your product that it's that good enough that people will want to purchase more.
Yeah, and I think it was, as you mentioned earlier, documenting everything. And I think it was Dan that did a video. It was Dan that did a video the other day about,
Yep.
can you put too much fragrance in an oil, and that in the United States it's not necessarily regulated and you don't have to document it. But he warned everybody, like, start documenting because it's coming. And it's like, Adam's already doing it because he's a company in Canada. It's already being done. He's in the legal limits of Canada. Obviously, whatever regulations. I don't know if there's any regulations he has to meet with the United States for shipping into the United States, but so he's meeting Canada guidelines with that and has it already there. So he's met that, and something else. I mean, I could go on all day, but something else that
Right.
I find just astonishing, with Baarden is, yeah, we like to have the beard products, but when you think about a business, if anybody's business minded or business oriented, you run a business or you managed a business, um, what reviews have you seen for Baarden? I mean, he's doing this. I've reviewed him.
Right.
I think Brian has reviewed him. Maybe Brian's just talked about the scent, a scent, and then I think Mo's kind of done a review on him too. So, but I mean, I've asked him before, is like, how about, getting one of the bigger guys to do it and paying? And, he's just so content and happy with where he's at. He's taken this on full time and been so happy with it that, he's just like, I'm doing this on my own and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. Like, he's excited for what he's accomplishing just by getting his products in people's hands and people spreading the word of mouth. And that's like one of the biggest ways to spread anything positive or negative is word of mouth, and I mean, just look at the comments that we're getting in here right now.
Right.
People are drooling. People are saying Baarden's my number one beard oil. I mean, it's just like the growth that he's seen just by getting products in people's hands without even having big reviewers. I mean,
It's huge. It's huge. And I think that goes a long way to show how, like what you're saying, the quality of product. But it is exactly what you're saying. It goes from every bit of the manufacturing piece to the shipping. Once you get it, you get the product in hand, the box is nice. It is not going to break. You're not going to have any product that have any breakage problems. You get the stuff opened, and like he said, these glass jars are going to insulate you're not going to get some sort of, you're going to get quality. These are quality jars. They're nice. And you're going to be able, you go in that right off look and feel, you're going to say, this is quality. I'll put it, as a good display piece. And then you go to the next where it's actually amazing product, and it's going to do exactly what you want in way of look and, feel and scent. And I the scent, honestly, I'm not a big blow me away with your long lasting scents guy. And I was completely up with what Dan was saying, is that you should really, I felt that these were adequate. They lasted they lasted just enough to make me happy. I didn't feel like there was, over scented, and I didn't feel like people were going to come up to me and go, hey, what you drinking there? Is that coffee?
Yeah.
But for me, I like that smell that I can smell it. It had just enough scent for me to smell it most of the day. I think I got through, on most of these, they were all day. But I also think that there was a different, like I've had, I guess, spice citrus. I think Moroccan spice was definitely a little different feel for that. I really enjoyed that, actually. And first, when I smelt it in beard, I was like, I've smelt this smell before, but when you put it in beard, I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. And it changed for me in a very good space, where I was just like, yeah, this is definitely not what I bought at a drugstore.
And like, another plus about it is I like longer lasting scents. I like them to get me a little bit and to last for a while. And so, I can put an order in there, and I can type in the notes like double scent, and that's all I gotta do. And he's gonna put double scent in it for me.
Oh, okay.
And it's gonna be done. So it's like you can kind of customize, because he makes everything to order. So if you have any, I've even asked him to do a no jojoba one, which is what he claimed it as no jojoba. I just said, don't make it with jojoba oil. I'm trying to do an experiment, and he did, and he called it no jojoba. But so it's that nice, make everything to order, so I can kind of customize it how you want. But you're right. I mean, the scents, they don't hit you in the face when you put them in. They're not overpoweringly strong. TBL, tobacco bourbon leather, is probably the strongest.
Right.
Right out of bottle and in your face. But it
dies down, though. It dies down nicely.
Yeah, it dies down nicely. I think, the coffee maple praline is another one that's pretty strong right when you put it in. I wouldn't say overpoweringly strong. You just get that nice coffee maple, and it lasts pretty good.
It does.
And you get that maple from Canada. It's like,
I know,
Canadian maple. It's completely different than like a maple we would think of in the United States.
I was totally hooked on that one. I didn't want to stop putting it. I liked it because I had the butter, and I was putting the butter at night, and then I was putting in the balm and oil in the morning, and I was just loving it because it made me kind of hungry. It made me kind of I love breakfast. So I'm a big breakfast fan. So it was totally into that. I love waking up to this smell, and I love being able to start my day with this smell. And then it would last a good long time. It was absolutely amazing. And that's the good thing about good products will not so, sometimes I've had some products where they change over the day, which I do like that as well. But in this, I felt very consistent with it. Like, maybe you first put it in beard, and maybe like the TBL hits you right immediately.
Yeah.
But it dies down, and then the rest of the day it's at a good space. It's super nice. And the other thing that I appreciate you coming on, Tyson, to tell me more about what, because that was the biggest thing. I was like, I really like talking with people that are knowledgeable about the company that I've reviewed, because it's a good discussion piece. I think that, products like this should be, and especially company, there is so much there's so much knowledge and research that goes into good products like this. And I think they need to get seen as that. Not just scents, not just, the art of the scents and how they blend together can be 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And there's so much QA.
He was working on that for months.
Right. And that in that QA, that testing period is exactly the part of the passion that we don't see as the customer. And
Mhm.
that's the reason why I try to get people, companies or people that are knowledgeable about that product like yourself into this ballpark to be able to brag about these wonderful companies that some people haven't heard of, but in this case, Baarden is a name by itself because he has done such good products. And it's only, if you think about it, 11 months. 11 months, was it January of last year, right? You and him both started within the same
He
time period.
started the first week of February. Yeah.
First week. So we're talking, very short amount of time. And in the beard game right now, that is a little bit long, right? Because there's companies that sprout up every day now. But for longevity, you have to have good product.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about this, that if you want longevity, there's a few companies that I see is having potential future growth, and I see Baarden as one of them. And the reason why I say that is because the quality of the product is there. And me and him have talked about that space, and he has business savvy. Business savvy, you cannot just teach to people.
Well, and he comes from a business background, right? I mean,
He does.
his job before this was um, big business, corporate world,
Hmm.
and he took what he learned there, which is awesome. I mean, that's what we all need to get out of our jobs is what can we take from our current job for our future endeavors, and
Right.
he's taken what he learned about business and applied it to his beard oil company. And I think a lot of times, to kind of piggyback on what you said, a lot of times companies pop up and take off is because they send a bunch of product to everybody that has a Instagram or a YouTube presence, and everybody's reviewing them at the same time. So when a beardo turns on YouTube or Instagram, all they see is this company and from every different angle, and they're like, I have to try it. So they get a bunch of sales. But what happens to those companies? And I'm not saying every company. So if you're a
Right.
company listening to this or watching this, I'm not calling anybody out, anything like that.
Right.
But I've seen plenty of companies just in this last year that come in, make a presence, get everybody's attention. They start doing good, and then now I can look at my beard shelf right now and see 3 companies that are no longer in business, or just aren't doing it anymore. So to talk about what you have, what you said is the longevity of it. He gave up his full time job and said, I want to do something myself, that I'm creating art with my hands,
Hmm.
and started this company. And it's like, there's no plan B. He doesn't have a big savings account, didn't inherit a bunch of money. It was, I'm going to make this work. And so when it comes down to like paying for reviews or anything like that, it's like, well, my company's got to make a little bit more, and I'm going to make it happen,
Right.
and now it's just getting to that point of that snowball effect where you're starting to see more and more traction, but it's coming from people getting that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think TBL really put them on the map, because that spread around like wildfire of this is the best tobacco or bourbon scent that there is. And you can go into any live stream, it seems like now, and everybody's like, yeah, I keep hearing about that TBL scent from Baarden. And it's like, then just go order it. Like, it's not expensive. Just go order it. But a
Yeah.
lot of people are kind of waiting for like, send me free products and stuff. And, I mean,
Right.
he's definitely more than generous with that. But,
Absolutely.
um, it's business, like you said, it's business savvy. And
It doesn't come in it, and it also like it just shows it ekes throughout. And I've seen, and the interesting thing is he hasn't done any tap dance shows. There's people that go out there and and I can think of several companies that I won't name that there it's still cool what they're doing. I'm not saying that, but he's not having to go out there. His products stand for themselves, and he doesn't have to do anything crazy. He doesn't have to come up with some gimmick to get you to buy into his products. And I think gimmicks are like what you're talking about. They're meteors.
mhm.
They flash out, and then they flash really cool. Everybody likes to get involved, and then they flash away really quickly. They burn up really quick.
But I
And
mean, and it's like you just said again, like there's no gimmicks. It's,
right.
I mean, the guy has never even got on camera.
I know.
I'm gonna pull a faithfully bearded card here, and I'm the only one that has got him on camera. And it wasn't even on camera. It was, he took a selfie video to tell us about his company that I did on a review.
Nice.
So, I mean, he's not on Instagram Live all the time. And
Right.
everything that I tell companies when they ask me is, how can we take off? It's, you have to be present on Instagram. Like, being present on Instagram is how you get your name out there.
It's true.
And, yeah, and finding your niche, like Bam said, you know, it's finding what you do. And so I want to show you guys something for those who haven't seen. One thing that the very first time I ran across Baarden and Adam, I was in a live stream and he was commenting in the live stream.
Yep.
And I'm like, who's this guy? I've never seen him before. And he mentioned the word review, and I don't remember what exactly it was. So I clicked on his profile, and the first thing you'll notice when you go to his Instagram profile is, like, not only does he make quality products, but it's the theme all the way across the board with the company. He has one vision for the brand of the company. And when I asked him, I'm like, you know, when I first did the review, I'm like, hey, what color do you use? And he's like, here's my brand sheet. He has a brand sheet for his font, his colors.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at his Instagram, like, it is just classy. It's like the best one of the best Instagrams you're ever going to see.
Right.
It's done up right. It's done up really good. And even his stories, you know, he'll reshare stuff, you know, things like that. But his stories are, it's crazy how good they are. He's got a theme that he does for stories, and he just keeps up with it. And that's business, right? I mean, you find,
right,
you know, Walmart's got their stuff, and Starbucks has their stuff, and Chick-fil-A, you know, these big companies, and that's how they get big. And even Beard Brand, you know, they started off with their brand, and even today when you see their stuff, like, they're not changing it. And I can think of a lot of smaller companies that, like, their bottle colors have changed 10 times. Their labels are different every day. You know, they don't have that consistent theme across the board. And that's, you know, where a lot of companies, I feel like, slack. But Adam just pays attention to every single small detail.
Right.
Yet is it still extremely open to feedback. You know, I mean, so many things that I've tossed around with him back and forth. But I want to show you this box that I found.
Oh, cool.
So this is the unboxing experience from Baarden. So after you figure out how it opens, like this, I've had trouble with these. So you get this, and so you have the printed, I'm backwards on the camera, handcrafted just for you stamp. And then you're going to have this shut just like this. And you're going to have a note in here, a thank you note. And then the sticker. So again, you have that branding. You have his color. He gets these printed in his brand colors. And then you open that up and you have all this biodegradable stuff. Everything here is biodegradable. And your oils are just going to be tucked in here ever so nicely, kind of like that. And I think he even goes to the point of making sure that the label is up like that. So when you open it, you just see this presentation, and it is absolutely amazing. And I know some other companies are adopting this presentation a lot now too. Not necessarily saying they're copying or anything like that, but boxes and a presentation is becoming something now, because, like I said, that's, if they would just show up in an envelope in a styrofoam or, you know, bubble wrap, I mean, it's cool, it's fine, it doesn't bother me. I don't think, like, I'm never gonna buy this again because it's in bubble wrap. But when you get this, like, if he's putting that much effort into packaging, you know, what is he putting into my products? You know, and that's something that we got to think about. If somebody's just throwing a bubble wrap around it and a piece of Scotch tape, throwing it in, you know, a manila envelope and sending it out, like, if they're putting that much effort, that little effort into the shipping and the packaging, what are they putting into the products? I think about those things. I don't know if everybody does or if a lot of people care, but those are the things I think about.
And that's a big key point. And and I think of several companies that I can think of, and there's not very many of them, that from day one, everything was consistent. And I think that this is one of those companies that every single one of these products has nice labeling. It's all same font, same style. It's consistent across the board. And like you're saying, the experience that you have in unboxing is a huge deal. That is coming to that place of how do I market my product? What am I saying about myself in a product when somebody receives it? I want the entire experience of owning this product from the moment that you receive the box to the moment that you start using it, and then to the moment that you are putting it in your beard and using it and utilizing it every day. I want that to be consistent all the way through. And that's good business savvy, again. But it's also, their user experience, and I come from an IT background as well as a hospitality background. That user experience or guest experience is huge, is everything. That's why Disney has the franchise it has, because it's consistent, and also what you're going to get the moment that you receive it. Quality is built into this, and that is a way you're going to experience the entire thing all the way through, and you're going to think it's quality, and it is quality. Honestly, that was the other thing is I'm not hyping up products because I just like Adam a lot. I do like him a lot, but beside the fact that these are wonderful products, but you can tell by just speaking to him, and he's really open to DMing. So if you guys, anybody else watching this, reach out to him, and he really does. We talked about frankincense and sandalwood, and he said, "Hey, next time I'll throw in some Nag Champa for you," which again is that, to me, that's another meditative smell. He's willing to work with anybody and customize anything for anybody, like you're saying, but that comes from that customer experience level. Customer satisfaction is huge, and that's the key. And what even Baarden was saying, Adam was saying in this conversation, was that the word of mouth. And I think I've said that in several other videos, or one of my own videos, that from the restaurant business, word of mouth is everything. And it's actually a magnitude level. So if one person has one good experience, they'll tell usually 3 or 4 people. I had great experience with it, especially when you talk about Baarden, where it's a great experience. You'll probably talk like I am. I'm trying to talk to as many people as I can, but most people will talk to 3 or 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then those 3 or 4 people will say, "I've heard of that guy." I'll tell 2 more, and then maybe they'll tell 2 more. And then, usually it's around 10 to 15 people that will get told. Now, if you have a bad experience, now this is the interesting part, where the magnitude of bad experiences overwhelm the good experiences. Humans like to tell everybody about a bad experience.
Oh, yeah.
They'll tell 20 people about their bad experience with a company. And you don't find that with Baarden. You find the word of mouth is always customer perfection and quality of product. And I heard about his product from, actually not from any reviewer. I didn't even know, honestly, Tyson, that you knew him. I knew it from my little beard post that I do every day, like what's in your beard. I'm trying to, I advertise a product or a company through a Instagram posting every day.
Yeah.
And so I asked people, and what I saw was the Baarden. TBL, and it was a lot of them were TBLs. So that's the first experience I had. And then I know that my buddy Bearded Canadian, he could not wait when he had the release of this coffee, maple and praline. Could not wait, because he said, I've been waiting all day for this post. That's how excited he was.
The maple praline?
About the maple praline. Yeah. He said, I waited all day to tell people about this. And I was like, that's the kind of excitement that you want to have about your product, is that people who are using it, not just reviewers, not influencers, that normal folks are just as excited about your products as any, influencers. There can be, influencers have tried out a lot of products, and, sometimes they hype up a product because but regular users, that they have there's no skin in the game for them to say anything good about a company or bad about a company.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
rave about Baarden. And then I was just like, it's time to do a review. I'm good friends with Adam, and he, like he said earlier, that he's still doing my meditations. He's still doing the meditation because he found use out of it. He was real about it. Like, he wasn't just hitting me up because I would tell good things about his products. I created a relationship with him 3 or 4 months ago, and he just wanted to. We just talked one day and said, I think it's time for a review. let's get testing on this. I
Time to
keep
do an
hearing
order.
great things about it. I'm glad that we have a personal relationship where I can hear about how excited you are about your nephew and things like that. He's a really personable guy, and that's that to me that goes a long way too. And that's honestly why another reason why I chose to do this particular review is because I like personal stories. I like personal company stories. I like that kind of feel that you kind of know that company because they have that experience with you.
Mm-hmm.
That you can say, "Hey, I can see myself." That's why I like that company, is because they have a storyline, some story. And Baarden has great products, but he also is a really good person. He's you know, I've talked to him several times about how close he is with his girlfriend and how wonderful he is with his family. He just had that new nephew born.
And he's
So, and
super giddy about that.
yeah, I've seen pictures of the baby. So cute. And he is so dedicated to that, being influential as an uncle.
Yeah.
Absolutely dig that. To me, that I have kids, and anybody that is into kids is all right with me. So
Yeah. And I mean, one of the things that, there's so many different things that I respect about Adam, but one of the things that I respect about him the most is he is here for the community.
mhm,
He's not just here for Baarden. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's got a business to run and a family, but I mean, any live stream that's going on, you're usually going to find Adam in there, just being
right.
part of the community. He doesn't necessarily usually come in and push his products on people. He just joins in the conversation of what's going on. And, that I love. And, that's something that I've always been really big on myself is the community supporting the community, supporting the community. I love doing a live stream and seeing companies jump in, even on if it's not the week that I'm reviewing them, just to get that support. Because as I guess influences, if we can say that, I don't like to say influences or reviewers,
Right,
but
right, right.
as people that have YouTube channels and we talk about companies, you know, if we hit off with companies and you build friendships, it doesn't stop just at the review. There's plenty of things that we can offer. So I love getting the support from the companies. And Adam's always been there. He's one of the first to comment on my videos usually and give feedback. I remember one time I made a video and he shot me a text message and he's just like, your lighting was really off today or something like that. It was something, what'd you do different? And I remember sitting and I made 6 or 7 little test videos, changing something up every time and emailing them to him. And he would shoot everyone and then he'd watch them and he'd have his girlfriend watch them. And they'd kind of just like, we like this one better than this one, the better than this one. What'd you do in this one? They went through my YouTube channel and found video. They're like, this one looked really good. What lens did and then we figured it all out. And so I owe a lot of my stuff to Adam as far as getting the visuals right. And we've compared my YouTube channel to others, not in the beard world, but visually to some big like cinema whatever
Yeah,
YouTubers.
Yep.
And trying to get the lighting and everything right. So it's like you look at mine and you look at others and we're trying to nail it in to be on point. And that's just something that I really enjoy about him. But I mean, even on the product side, to go back to the products real quick, when you look at the ingredients of the beard butter, we're both sitting here saying this is one of the best butters we've ever tried.
Absolutely.
And when you look at the ingredients, There is absolutely, absolutely nothing that's going to blow your mind. Nothing. It's shea butter, cocoa, jojoba, sweet almond, and beeswax. So, what is it that makes this the best butter or one of the best butters? It's one of two things. It's either quality of ingredients or the ratios he uses, right? Both come down to him. So if it's ratios, he found a mixture that just works really good. And the other aspect of it is it could be quality of ingredients, and that's absolutely, definitely a factor. But that's something that we don't necessarily think about. We see jojoba, we see this, and we see this, and we're like, oh, cool. But there's definitely different grades of it along the way, So the
Right.
fact that this is like 4 really, really common ingredients in here, but the feel blows a lot of those out the water, is he spent his time researching, finding the best ingredients, and found that ratio that really works. And one thing that really bothers me, sorry, I'm taking over.
No, go ahead.
One thing that really bothers me is when people talk about grit, right? It's also like, oh, it feels gritty when you pull it out, blah blah blah, and it's like I can see grit. I mean, I'm not gonna hide it from you guys. I mean, it is kind of like a little gritty in here, and when you pull it out, you can see a little bit of grit, but you put it in your hand and you just do this, and I put way too much on because I was trying to show you guys. But look at that. I mean, it's all melted in my hand. Like there's no grit here anymore. It's completely just melted in my hand.
Right.
I think it's unscented. Yep, it is unscented. So, Adam is actually, I'm looking for a towel. Adam is actually one of like 2 companies that I've actually ordered unscented from. And it's because the reason I've ordered unscented from him is for when I'm sick or if I'm going out and about. Like that's kind of just my go-to if I don't want a scent in my beard. But also for, say I'm reviewing a company that doesn't have a butter. I can still wear an unscented butter at night, but not have to worry about like mixing scents around because I don't necessarily always like to mix company scents. So I could take his butter, wear it at night because the company I'm reviewing doesn't have a butter, wear his butter in an unscented version, So
That's
it's
nice.
just, I don't even know, like we could go on for hours, I think.
Well, that's the good thing is that we can go on for hours. That speaks volumes right there. And that's why I brought you on, Tyson, is because I know that you've had this good experience with him. And I think having a personal relationship with somebody and getting to know his products and is something that I was definitely looking for. Of course, we know that I originally, and he actually referred me to you. I said, if you can't get on the camera, which he's going to be camera shy, I said, who do you want to represent you? Because I like your products. I like who you are that much. And he said Tyson. I said I like Tyson a lot too. So he's a Chiefs fan.
Yes.
So you can't go wrong with that. And I've been watching your YouTube channels since it's interesting. I was trying to think back about when I first saw your first YouTube, and it wasn't a YouTube. It was, you were doing an IG thing probably about 7-8 months ago, and your wife was on there, and you guys were just chatting, and I think there was another beard company or somebody else that came into the chat with you, but I was focused on you, and I was like, yeah, this is a great channel. He has very big support, and that's the other thing that I will say. You have that big support from Maddie, and other than Adam, you may know Adam's girlfriend's name, but
Lina.
Yeah, so all I know is my girlfriend, but she is a rock. And to me, that is another solid solution for people with a small business, that if you have support from the family, from your spouse, and they're giving you good feedback, they have that same mindset of that growth mindset, I think they work well together because of that. Just the way that you and your wife are doing. I think that having that support and having that same commonality that we both want to succeed, and I want you in your, sometimes having your spouse saying, "I want to see you succeed."
Yeah.
That goes a long way for me, and I saw that with Adam. I see that with you because you can, your wife gets on the streams with you, and that's awesome. That type of support gets you through some tough times when maybe, for instance, you're not sure what's going on with your product. Why am I not sales or not? Now, Adam has seen really good sale volume, which is awesome. And he's attributing to quite a bit of factors, but I think word of mouth is the biggest one for me that I'm seeing. But
Sure.
yeah, but I see that support system, and that support system is what makes you go on when lean times are going. I've seen Tyson. You could have folded several times. I saw some hateful IG video that I saw a while back, and I was just like, I would have. So many people could have folded and said, I'm done. This is not for me. But you had that spousal support that helped you, kind of brought you back up, brings you into a better space. And then you also have that growth mindset that I can learn from this and move on.
Yeah.
And so I can see that, I think with that mindset that, like you said, that he may have released frankincense and sandalwood with another, maybe a little bit different scent the first time. He learned what worked and then fixed it. That's huge. That's huge right there for me.
And I think, I mean, you're definitely, you're definitely right. And, when it comes to Lina, and I think she's a lot more into the company than I think gets let on, and not that they're hiding anything, nothing along those lines,
Right.
but, she is a rock behind the company, and she helps him design the stuff, so she's got the mindset of like, he runs a lot of stuff by her, to make sure it's like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And it's really a team effort, and she helps come up with like the stories and the
Right.
design of the labels and, any of the graphic type stuff. She really
Right.
helps with that and the website design, and it is amazing. And, so the fact that, he gets to have that support from her, and I mean, he's doing it in his house, right? So he's doing it in if you've ever, he's shown them on Instagram before. So if you've never watched them, I think they're still on his Instagram. And he calls it like How a Maker Does It or something like that. And he'll set up the camera and he'll show you him labeling these or packaging boxes. And it's like, you don't see this big, crazy, messy around. Is just super clean. And he's doing that in their apartment, and she could easily be like, you're making a mess, get rid of this stuff, and not support it. But like I said, it's his number one, it's his go-to, and there's no plan B, and I think, before he decided to do this full time, it was one of those things that I don't know if he could have decided to do this full time without her.
Right.
I think she pushed him and had that support and didn't question him as like, this is your dream, that you want to make art with your hands and grow and express yourself this way. Like, I'm on board. Let me help you, and that's
Right.
I think that's so vital in any business or any relationship, even that you're trying to do. And I'll be
Right.
the
And
first to tell you, I couldn't do my channel without Maddie. And it's not even what Maddie does for the channel. It's what she does for me personally, and if, I put a lot of time and effort into this. And if she was, I mean, she's sitting downstairs doing homework right now, but she could be sitting there like, we haven't seen each other all day. I walked in the house at 5, you jumped on a live stream, you jumped off that one, jumped on another one, but she is extremely supportive. And when I'm struggling with something, it's, I know you're going to figure it out. I know you're going to figure it out. And I feel like that's what Lina does for Adam, is just shows him that support, and she sees the potential that he has. And I think everybody else is finally starting to see it too. And it's well deserved. He's
Absolutely so.
truly one of the best guys in the community, for sure.
Yeah, I think so, and that's what he's what I've noticed is that he's one of those people that will reach out to you. If you have been, I get busy, I'm usually chatting with several companies at the same time, getting to know them, because that's who I am. I'm a get to know you type person. I'll usually buy your products if you have a good story. I won't just buy because somebody said they were good all the time. I'll say, hey, I saw you on this. I'll, incidentally bump into them and say, I saw that your product was good. Let me get to know you. And then I'll DM them. And I've actually stopped talking, and I won't buy products from people that have just, neglected talking to me at all. I'll be like, I heard you were a good company, but I'm not going to buy from you today, at least, because I didn't get that interaction that I really think is huge in customer success.
Well, and that's all part of that experience, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's been plenty of, and not even companies, just people. I am a talker, and I like to build relationships. And I tell every single company, I call every single company that I'm reviewing, and I interview them. I have certain questions that I ask them, and have them tell me their experience. And, I feel like that's for me trying to get to know them in the best way that I can try to get to know them. And I tell them every time, like, our relationship doesn't end when the review gets published on Friday. Like, I want to continue to build a relationship. And there's some that I can do that with, and there's some that I can't. And that's past companies, that's people. It's like I I don't in messaging, like, generally, if you send me, a one-word answer, I have a hard time building a relationship when it's like, hey, I've
Right.
heard good stuff about your products, and they're like, thanks, man. It's like, cool. I don't really know what to say from here. So,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
trying to build
Well,
a
now I
relationship
know.
with you, but, it's like,
Yeah.
let's chit chat, let's talk, let's, you got to be open. You got to be a little bit open. And that's one thing that, I've never had any problems with Adam being open with me when I'm talking about scents or asking him a business, something about his business. He'll tell me,
Yeah.
anything that I want to know realistically, because it's open. And
His transparency is there, and that's what I like about Adam, is that there's transparency, transparency in who he is as a owner, as a person, and then also transparency with what he's putting in his products. And I think that's huge. And I think that's what kind of gets you to be a good company, is that you're transparent. What you see is what you get. And you look at, even just by looking at the labels, you could tell professional, not hapdashed. It's not something that he just threw together and is trying to make some money out of. There's thought put into it, and that's what you were getting at, is that thought is, and that concentration and effort, is, you can see, was probably thought out way before he started doing this, because you have to put in, before you just start doing stuff. You could start doing stuff and then try to sell that start doing stuff part, but he was doing stuff pre this company, getting his thoughts behind it, how he was going to label it, how he was going to set it up, and then he went live when it was ready. And I've seen companies that didn't do that. They started off, where they just weren't ready, and they started just seeing if there was a need for it. I think that he saw a need and then found his niche with it. And that's business. That's business right there, is being able to find your niche.
and I think there's still so much more room for growth. A lot of sales are still in Canada, and it's like there's such a big American market to get them down here in America. And that's the thing, with a lot of it though too, because a lot of the Canadian companies I see, and this isn't a Canada versus America thing, but a lot of American beard companies, when you look at label design, it's something like, it's skulls, it's flames, it's that type of like bad boy kind of type feel, you know what I mean?
Right.
And when you see like Canadian companies, and it's not just Baarden, just Canadian companies in general, they look more classy. They're not as much into the skulls and stuff like that. And that's probably one of the only negative things I've ever heard about Baarden, was I've heard like, oh, the labels are kind of boring, and they just didn't trip it for me. And I'm like, they're not
Interesting.
boring if you read them. if you read them,
Right.
they're not boring. But when I put these on the beard shelf, I mean, they just look amazing. And if I was in full screen, you would be able to see them, and they would just pop out right at you of like what ones they are, And the only
Right.
other ones that really do that like looking at my screen right now that really pop out that I know what they are would be like Nicholas Beardworks or Beard Octane, and it's just because one's a skull and one's got red caps,
Right. Right. And
So
I think Beard Octane has, that product line is it looks like to me it speaks, the presentation is exactly what you would think. And I see that with his as well, is when you see it, it's very similar. And you see that type of that look and feel. And to me, this speaks of classiness and sophistication because the product looks nice, the labeling looks nice, and there is enough artwork involved in it that it's subtle. It doesn't have to be overpowering, but sophistication takes effort and time. And just because you can put, a bunch of skulls or Vikings in it doesn't mean that, and maybe to Americans, that's what we like. We like flashy stuff. I lived in England, and that was the biggest point that I had from my Brit friends was that Americans are flashy. We like to have flashy cars. We like to have flashy houses. We like to have movies that are over the top. I get it, but I'll be honest with you. Look at Beard Brand. They're not flashy.
no.
They're not flashy at all. They're very similar, and I feel that this is very similar to what I would see in something like that in place, where Baarden's taking it to the word of mouth space and Instagram space, which is a niche. It's a niche. There is a certain amount of people that will hopefully see this live stream, will hear from the people that are using it, buy this product, and that subtle growth over time will build because you have loyal customers. They're not going to be somebody who tried your product and put it on the shelf and then never use it again. And that's exactly what you were talking about with that meteorite type of
Yeah.
company.
And
That
I've bought a lot of product, and I've been a repeat customer to multiple companies, but I can't even tell you how many orders I've placed with Baarden. I mean, I'm sure he could, but it's a lot, and it's because I keep wanting to try, like, well, I run out, so I need more, but then
right.
it's like new stuff, and then I want to share stuff, But who
Yeah.
in here has not seen Adam or like on video?
I haven't seen him on video. I've talked to him a lot, but never, I don't think I've ever seen a video of him.
He wants your mothers and your grandmothers to buy this for you.
Yeah. You know what? I was talking to another company, and they said this is the funny thing about beard products in some markets is that it's bought to you by a mom or a wife. That's what one of my friends here in Phoenix, he said, where most of my local business is coming from? Wives.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit. Is it's wives because they're buying it for their husband. They want their husband to take care of their beard or smell good.
Right, exactly. And that's a huge thing. And I think that when you start, and so there's beardos like us who are, there's a whole bearded community where we're saying, hey, we all are very like-minded. We love the community part. But then there's people, the average Joes that are outside of this community that, I work with lots of bearded gentlemen who have never really tried, they're throwing coconut oil in their beard and thinking that's good enough, or whatever. Some of them aren't even putting anything. I'm always like shocked by that. I'm like, how do you handle it without any beard oil?
Yeah.
They're just like, I just rough it. They look very disgruntled.
Do you guys want to see? Do you want to hear from Adam? Do you guys want to hear from Adam?
We do.
I can make that happen.
Can you? Let's see. How do we do that?
Okay, hang on. I'll make it happen right here.
Awesome.
Can you see it?
Let's get. Yeah, let me get that pulled up.
Oh yeah, you got to pull it up. Okay.
There we go. Oh, do I have to do something with the sound?
Balcony in beautiful.
Oh, there is.
Which is where Baarden, my company, is located. Just thought I'd come on here and share thing is that we are a small batch company, and I've gone so far as to call us a micro batch company because unlike other small batch companies, I actually
He's got a rockin' beard.
He does.
The reason behind this is I want to keep everything really fresh for you. I don't want anything going bad, and if I make one product at a time as you order it, I have full control over everything. I've customized orders for people before.
A cool balcony.
Gives me a lot of pride to be able to give something exactly what they want when they order it. Second thing I want to talk about is our ingredients. We use 100% organic butters and oils in our products. They're all locally sourced, and as often as possible, all of our packaging, all of our shipping materials, they are 100% reusable or recyclable. That's including the boxes, the bottles, the crinkle cut that I add in there. All of that's recyclable, so you can feel really good ordering it, as good as I feel making it for you. The last thing I want to talk about is the branding and the appearance of our company. One thing I really wanted to do when creating Baarden was to create a premium feeling product without a premium price on it. I don't think there's any reason that we can't make you guys feel really good and really special when ordering these products. We put a lot of attention into the details. We've got little stories on all of our labels. We've got handwritten notes with every order. We've got special little cards to include, and just even down to the way I fold the papers when packing your products. There's all a detail in there that I'm hoping really makes you guys feel special when you order it. So in advance, thanks to everyone who will order in the future. Thanks to everyone who's already ordered, all the great customers I've had. I've had so many great relationships that I've made in this community just through making products like this. And one last thing you guys need to know about me is I love the customer service part of this. So if you haven't talked to me, or if I haven't talked to you, please hit me up on Instagram at the Baarden, and I'd love to have a chat with you guys. Thanks.
There we go.
Pretty
See,
cool.
Adam, you thought you could get away with. You thought you could get away. You thought you would not be able to be on this video, but we put you in here anyway.
He's probably surprised that I still have that video.
I love it. I
So
love it.
He took that video for me when I was doing my second review for him. I said, I really want people to hear from you about your company. Like, let's do something special. Make a video. Let them hear from the company owner. So he did that, and it's nice to be able to hear from the companies. And he kind of reiterated everything that we've already talked about, with everything being recyclable, and that he's about customer service. If you guys have any questions, you can hit him up and he'll answer, all that good stuff. But I mean, if you guys want an epic beard, isn't this what American marketing is? Like, you want an epic beard, like I have, use my products. I mean, that's
totally
kind of
right. And he has an epic beard. He has exactly what he's advertising. This is an epic beard. This is a nice beard, and he has it. And the good thing is that he's also offering these great products, and he's basically summed it up all in that video. This is what he's about.
Yeah,
and then,
I mean, even past that, some things that we haven't even really talked about. I mean, there's just so many, but
yeah.
He, the name is in his heritage. It's the name Baarden is Dutch. So he's bringing that from being something different. He's not saying like, oh, this is beard, whatever. He took it, made it into Dutch, and now you have heritage included with this branding of everything, and I mean, just the things that he does, out of his way to make people happy. I know that you got a special gift that he created just for you or your kiddo, and
yep.
He's done that with Maddie. I mean, I told him the other day, like, Maddie's out of body butter. He's like, oh, I'll figure out something for her. I don't have a body butter, but I'll figure it out. And he's been testing body butters for the last week, just trying to get it right to send her.
Yeah, he made that Cadence Beach. Yep, it was super nice. Super nice. And you know what? That goes a long way. And I love talking about good companies, but I think that right there was something that another company did for my son as well. Jolly Old Fat Man, did the same type of thing. My son, was like, hey, and anybody who has a smell that smells like cookies and something that smells like the ocean, we're looking for that in desert. No, Caden's desert. That's right, not beach. Caden's desert, right? Anybody that has that smell, I want to get that. Baarden's on it. Adam's on it.
Like, I can make
And it smells so good that I was like, I don't even know what this is. We were trying to figure out. So this one came in just a good sample size vial. And I was like, now the question is, Caden, can we guess what this is? And we couldn't.
Nope.
It smelled sweet. It smelled good. And my son now has taken it, and I won't see it again because he says this is mine. And I'm just like, oh, I can't test it out. No, it's mine. And he just loves putting a little dab. He'll just put a little dab and says, sweet. It smells sweet to me. And I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking. And he's always asking me when. So my son is always very part of my channel. And he's always asking me, when can I grow a beard so I can start putting this stuff in my, I really want to try out this Baarden, these other companies. When can I grow a beard? I'm like, Caden, you're like 11. He turns 11 at the end of the week, right? So an 11-year-old is far away from a beard. I said, if you're in my heritage, you're in my family genes, you're not going to grow a beard until you're probably in your 30s.
Right.
I still have patchiness, and I still have these sides that will not grow in correctly, and I am, in my 40s.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, so I've tested, for him before, and so he sent me 10 of those little vials of different things, and he's like, looking at a new scent, what do you think? And I'm just like, what is going on here? You could make 5 cents out of these 10. Like, these, you got 5. But he's so strategic with launching. It was like the coffee maple praline came out of that. But I'm like, you got 4 more scents in here. Well, I don't want to release them all at the same time. Like, because a lot of companies release 3, 4 at the same time. He's like, no, strategically. Everybody's saying we're frozen, so
no,
maybe that's our sign.
Yeah, maybe that's the sign. Oh, hang on. Yeah, weird. I can see us.
I can see us. We're moving around just fine.
Yeah. Hey, what are you guys doing? I don't know. I don't know what it is. StreamYard's breaking down, but that might be the sign of going home and letting you go spend some time with Maddie.
Yeah. Oh, he says we're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can start wrapping it up, but
yeah.
So what I mean, is you get 10 vials of stuff that he just throws together, and I'm like, 5 of them, I'm like, you can make 5 cents out of this, and he really could. But he chooses one, releases it, and then it's like, I'm good for a few months. Everything is so strategic, and it's just all part of the brand. You're not going to get 5 cents at one time. You're going to get a new scent. Everybody jumped on the fall scent thing, and Adam's just like, yeah, I could do a fall scent, but why? Everybody's got a fall scent, and
Well, so look how long a fall scent lasted, and this is it was a flash buy. Nobody.
It's a 2-week buy thing.
Mm-hmm. And then he's not out about gimmicks, and that's the thing. He wants to have a strong product release that is something that's going to be in his line for a while. He's not looking for gimmicky, like, I'll just try this. And maybe at some point he may try to do that. I'm not saying he won't do that, but I can see that he's strategically being able to do that. So
yeah.
What's he saying?
He said he can't blow the load all at once. You need to sustain. But,
there you go.
And that's...
It's a truth. It's a truth in that. And that's because it comes from good business practice that you release one at a time. You don't have to, and I think that goes with that whole mindfulness and patience that you're able to, as a company, being able to see what is working and taking small steps, small little things to change the rudder. To say, hey, this is working. I'm going to go more over here. People seem to be liking this scent, or but I also want to throw this other new scent out. But I want them to try this other scent for a while, get used to it, buy some. He's
Well, I mean, it's
good
smart
business
because
smart.
if you release 5 cents at once, you're going to get 1 to 2 out of those that people are raving about all over Instagram, right? You release one good scent, everybody raves about it, everybody else has to try it. And now it's the rave for 3, 4. I mean, TBL is still the rave, and that's 2 months old.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
and then so it's like, okay, that one's been out for 2 months. Let's release this coffee maple praline one. And that's like, oh my gosh, you know, so now it's just like,
That's good.
but if you release 5 at once, they would all jumped on TBL and this would have been different scenario all along. You know, it's like,
right.
because people aren't going to go buy 5, most likely, new scents, but you drop 1 new scent, a couple people say how great it is. Now you're more likely to go buy 1 scent.
Right. And then you can continue your purchasing with him because you'll see that he has 5 others.
Yeah.
You know, and then he has this beard wash that is phenomenal. I have never had it. To me, I was like, it's a little, this is thinner than I'm used to. It doesn't have that consistency that, you feel like, oh, this is thick. However, it's so good because only a little dab will do you. And it goes right in the beard, lathers up nice enough, and it cleans it up nice. So as we're leaving, I'm being mindful of your time too, Tyson. Yesterday I had went to Halloween. I went to work and I put a bunch of there's pictures on Instagram. Say what you will. They asked me to be Ginger from the Gilligan's Island yesterday. So I was the bearded ginger yesterday
awesome.
with my Gilligan's Island. If you go onto IG, you'll see a bunch of pictures that are probably the most unflattering pictures that you've ever seen of me. However, one of my coworkers thought that I should just throw glitter in my beard. Just throw it in your beard. And I had glitter. It was like shiny glitter. So I could get this one really good picture. I'm trying to win the contest, the company contest. And I went to my go-to, which is this beard wash, and it got rid of all the glitter. I think my son said it was like on some parts of my face, but I didn't put the beard wash on my face.
Yeah.
So, but and it was a lot of glitter, not just a little bit of glitter. It was a lot and it washed right out and no problems. Got rid of, because I was holding it in with balm. So I was putting in the glitter into the balm.
Oh,
and then mixing it in because that's wax, right? So it'll hold. This wash took out the wax, and then in that process also took out the glitter, which is exactly what I was looking for. Huge success, because that meant that today I wasn't going, oh, where I can't get rid of this glitter. It was everywhere. I had been pixie dusted. That's what
I have
my
a
daughter calls
question
it.
for the community that's in here and you.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? Like, thumbs up, thumbs down. What if Baarden created a bar soap? Like, would you guys be all over that?
I think so. I think that's a great product line. I think that, especially, it depends on what it, if he's going straight beard, like pine tar, or is he thinking?
I don't think he's thinking anything. I'm trying to
get him.
I'm trying to vote
there's interest.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that if you went into, I think soaps are the next thing.
So
I really do.
I've been saying that. I think they are the next thing.
I think they are the next thing, and I think that Baarden. I just talked to that company last week. Morning Mist soap company.
Yeah.
And they were in the soap game, and honestly, her soaps are amazing. And I think that if Baarden was to come out with, imagine you could have this whole grooming product line, and you would just go one place to shop. You wouldn't have to worry. And especially when they're natural ingredients that are actually cleaning your body, and that they're good for you. You're not buying them from, the Wally World or Target. You're not buying them from these big box stores where there's a ton of bad stuff that's already in them. you know that you're getting it from the same place that you're getting really good beard products for your beard. I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean, it goes beyond that. I mean, here's
I think you could go shampoo too, to be honest with you. I've been looking, there's a couple companies that do it. I know Beard Brand does it. Live Bearded has some products that are a little bit outside of just the beard game. They have that triple, whatever it is, triple threat. I think that guys would love to just shop at one place and buy their products and then leave and then get their products and not have to worry about going buying. The only problem that I've ever run into is remembering to buy that product before it goes out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that gets, but I think that from coming from Canada, the shipping, and this is the one thing that most people were a little mystified. They were like, "Oh, I bet it costs a lot of money." It doesn't cost. It doesn't cost a lot of money. So
it costs nothing if you do it right. I mean, if you spend over $50, it's nothing.
Right. And the other thing is that even if you do pay for the shipping, it was $5. That's typical American rates.
Yeah.
So I didn't find that the people were thinking they'd be like $10-15 to have it coming from Canada. That was something that I was glad to see that it wasn't $10-15. But I was, that's definitely something that if you were to get a few things out of this, that was one of the things that I would say that order, because the shipping isn't what you think it is. It isn't some sort of outrageous fee.
I mean, there's discount codes out there. I have a discount code, so if you're wanting to order from Baarden, I'll give you a discount code, no problem.
And Baarden will give you that same discount code because he's, he wants you to have that. He wants you to have his experience with his products. Wants you to purchase and then become a loyal customer and come back. Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, look at like Johnny Slicks. I mean, they got a bad rap at one point because the small batch, big batch thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they got wash your everything stuff, and they sell out all the time. And what really turned me on to soap is, I mean, I've liked soap and stuff from these beer companies and all natural soaps, but what really made me realize that people want soaps is when I made a soap review. And it's got 300 thumbs ups and almost 15,000 views now. And it's not any of my beard people. It's people searching. When I look at the statistics and the analytics, they are searching for handmade soap. That's the search term that got that video taken off. So people are looking for all natural soap, and we've seen, I mean, a lot of companies are doing it. Octane's got one. Chesapeake does it, so quite a few people do it, but to get into just a little bit different, like maybe not just pine tar, but do, like something, that lines up with this wash, like maybe instead of the liquid wash, you offer beard and hair body soap thing that you can use all over, and it's going to be like a mild wash, kind of like what he has now. But in a bar soap form, something.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's something and it's definitely a different market. And I think there's some more research that you have to do to get into that space still. I don't think you can. I know I was talking to Rossio last week, and she was basically saying there's some stuff to know. However, once you gain that, and he already has the scent lineups, I think that people will go crazy over this. I think it's a game changer. And especially what you're saying, most people, if you think about it, these are luxury items for most people, a little bit, but soap is not. Soap is something you have to use every day.
Yeah. And I mean, people talk about pricing on stuff. Yeah, it's like, I can go to Walmart and buy 6 bars of Irish Spring for $3, but
but you're getting Irish Spring.
I mean, those people aren't most likely buying beard products anyway.
Right. That's the whole thing. And that's why you're going to get somebody that, and I think like what you're saying with your review, this is an entry into those other lines. I didn't even know that there was beard products, is what people could say. He has an offering that then turns into something that they weren't aware of, that there was even a market for that. And now that they've already bought your product, they're going to try more of your product because they saw that.
And back to what we talked about earlier, right? Like women are a ton of these customers. Well, generally speaking, who is the leader of the house as far as all natural products? Usually the woman.
Absolutely.
So if you have an all natural soap and now she sees that you're at a farmer's market, something like that, or a woman's looking for the all natural stuff. Oh, I can get my husband's beard stuff here too. You know, and it goes so much beyond that. Like bath bombs, not hard to make. Women's shaving bars, not hard to make. I mean, you could market. I mean, it just depends on how wide you want to spread the market. If you want to stay beard, or if you want to get into grooming in general, you could make women's moisturizing pre-shave soap, bar soaps, or men's shampoo, men's, all sorts.
Well, you think of Fable. Fable's doing that right now. I know that there's some other companies out there, but Fable's a good example that they started diving into some of the female market, and coming up with, some smell stuff for women.
Yeah.
And I like it because of this. So if I'm going to buy beard product, I will go and buy my wife something too, so that I'm not feeling like, hey, I'm just buying myself a bunch of beard oil that smell good and I'm not going to buy anything for you, honey.
Yeah.
You can suffer. But I like that, being able to purchase gifts for yourself and for your spouse or for your loved one in the same place.
I justify it more. Like, I'm like, just like you, I justify it more as like,
Yep.
oh, I can get this if I get Maddie a couple things,
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I've done that.
Yeah.
I've actually done that. I did that with Baarden Brand.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look what I got you. Kind of like I did this for you, but it was really like, I got you this because I got this.
No, yeah, she knows. My wife knows. She's like, but it softens the blow a little bit.
Yeah.
It softens it up a little bit. It's like, hey, here's a rose. It smells really nice, but look what I did.
I bought a Camaro.
I bought a Camaro.
You get a rose.
Cool, buddy. It has been wonderful talking to you. Go have a beautiful weekend with your wife and your daughter. It was an honor to be able to talk to you, Tyson, about Adam and have you on. I appreciate your time. And I hope, and we've talked about, talking at some different levels as well, getting on a live stream here and there. So maybe we can make that happen over the next month or two, have some discussions.
Yeah,
I think you have a lot of really good key insight into so many different levels of this game. And I think that is valuable for consumers to see. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you guys all for watching, and thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, and before I leave, what's up? What is going on this next week for you? What is for you, what is going on? What is it? You got some reviews that what you released? What are you planning on releasing? Anything exciting?
I released a review today, and then we launched some products with Lone Bear Beard tonight. They launched their butter and a wash.
Cool.
Tomorrow I'm going to get on Instagram Live, probably do a little bit unboxing, but do probably some filming. Maddie's got to work a 12-hour shift tomorrow and Sunday. Sunday, watch the Chiefs win, and then live stream Sunday night where we're going to do probably some giveaways. Wild Schwein is the company that we reviewed this week, so they got some really good artwork.
Cool.
And then next week, I've had this package. Next week's gonna be interesting. I've had this package from Revered Grooming for a while, and I just didn't know when I was gonna get to it. And then I saw that they're now being sold by Honest Ape. So I was like, okay, did Honest Ape buy them out? What's the story behind this? So I reached out to Revered and asked the story, I was going to review. Well, turns out I'm going to be doing an unboxing for Revered, but I'm going to end up reviewing Revered and Honest Ape all in the same week. And I have a ton of Honest Ape products. So it's a good way for me to integrate two companies into one review that are basically the same company, but two different kind of products. It's going to be fun, be able to tell a different story. And, that's really what I want to do throughout the week if my stuff is tell a story from the beginning of, I know nothing about this company. You're getting to experience the unboxing experience with me, to I'm going to interview them, learn, wear, test. And then on Friday, I now have a story to tell you in the review about the company, and you get to experience it with me all week long. And I think that's a good thing for any video, any series, anything. I mean, it's even professional wrestling. I know Adam loves professional wrestling. Like, you got to go out there and you got to be able to tell a story. And that's what I really want to do on the channel, is tell a story from Monday to Friday about a company. So
Very cool.
That's this week. And then I'm going to wrap up the Beardies this month. So we have the Beardy Awards. Yep. So voting ends on that probably November 15th or so. And then I'll gather up the winners, and I'll send off, I have to send them into a print shop to like engrave them into these glass plaques or whatever. And I want to make sure they have time to get that done before the holidays. Very cool. And then, so we'll do the Beardies come December sometime. And then I'm part of the Beard Trend reviewers as well. So we actually have Baarden this month. So you guys will be in for a treat. We got 5 guys that'll be unboxing Baarden, reviewing Baarden. So I'm really interested to see if all 5 guys agree on scents and how the feel is and things like that. And then I'm going to stop reviewing at the end of November. And then in December, I'm going to do the Beard Gents Challenge is what I'm calling it. And I don't know if have you talked to Beard Gents at all?
I've had a discussion with him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he believes in cross training your beard. And so all his oils are different carrier blends. So I'm calling his bluff, and I'm going to test it out all December long. And I'm going to give updates and see if I feel or see any difference in using Beard Gents all month long. I like awesome. The products, but I think there's 2 different stories to be told with cross-training your beard.
Cool. Very good. And it'll be good to see that journey. And that's a huge thing. So
yeah.
Well, have a good night, Tyson. Thank you very much. You have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing more videos from you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Yep, no problem. Thank you guys for coming.
See ya.